Canadians to ditch the Ambassador Bridge that connects Canada to the US and instead use the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel. It comes as the Trump administration threatens the opening of a new bridge that would connect the two cities.
After decades at the top, the Ambassador Bridge has been dethroned as North America's busiest truck crossing. The Blue Water Bridge has taken over the crown, signaling a major shift in cross-border trade.
Canada just made a big win without any fight, and most people didn't even notice. For many years, the busiest bridge for trade was used more by the United States. But now things have changed because trucks started choosing smarter routes. This is great for Canada because more goods are moving through it, while the US is losing traffic, money, and control of a key trade path. The Blue Water Bridge connecting Sarnia, Ontario to Port Huron, Michigan, recorded approximately 2.1 million commercial truck crossings in 2025. The Ambassador Bridge between Windsor, Ontario and Detroit, Michigan recorded roughly 1.9 million during the same period. The Federal Bridge Corporation Limited, the Crown Corporation operating the Canadian side of the Blue Water Bridge, confirmed the reversal directly, stating that the Blue Water Bridge has surpassed all other international crossings in commercial traffic volume. In the first 3 months of 2026, the gap continued. 531,732 commercial truck trips at Blue Water compared to 496,796 at the Ambassador Bridge. Month by month, across an entire year, one route consistently outperformed the other. That pattern is not a fluctuation. It is a structural shift in logistics behavior. The economic logic driving it is visible and measurable. The Ambassador Bridge charges commercial vehicles up to $27 per axle. The Blue Water Bridge charges approximately $7 per axle. On a standard 5-axle semi-truck, that differential produces a cost difference of roughly $100 per crossing. For a fleet operator running dozens of crossings weekly, that $100 per trip compounds across hundreds of movements into a cost differential that directly affects profitability calculations, route planning frameworks, and long-term logistics strategy. At scale, the toll difference is not a minor operational consideration. It is a line item that determines whether a route makes financial sense. The routing environment on either side of each crossing amplifies the cost advantage further. Windsor and Detroit are dense urban environments. Trucks crossing the Ambassador Bridge enter city traffic on both sides, approaches through Windsor's streets, exits into Detroit's road network. The Blue Water Bridge connects directly to Highway 402 inches Ontario and to Interstate 69 and Interstate 94 inches Michigan, freeway to freeway, with minimal urban congestion exposure in either direction. The Sarnia crossing offers lower cost and higher operational efficiency simultaneously. When those two factors converge in the same direction, the decision for logistics optimization becomes less about preference and more about mathematical inevitability. The broader trade environment in which this shift is occurring intensifies the pressure on carriers to eliminate every avoidable expense. 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum have squeezed metal producers throughout the Windsor-Sarnia manufacturing belt. Automotive sector disruptions have pushed unemployment in the region to approximately 10%. Businesses operating on compressed margins in that environment cannot absorb inefficiencies. Every dollar saved on a crossing is a dollar that offsets cost pressure arriving from other directions. The Ambassador Bridge's toll premium, which was already a visible disadvantage in normal conditions, became a clearly unjustifiable expense as the broader trade war compressed the margins of the industries most dependent on cross-border movement. The Canada-US border handles approximately $3.6 billion in trade every single day, with a significant share of that volume moving across southern Ontario crossings. When commercial traffic redistributes between major routes at the scale documented across 2025, the physical pathways through which continental commerce flows are being redrawn. That is not a minor operational adjustment. It is a reconfiguration of the logistics infrastructure that underpins integrated North American manufacturing supply chains, particularly in automotive production, where components cross the border in synchronized cycles between Canadian assembly plants and American factories. The Ambassador Bridge has been privately owned by the Maroon family for decades. Its structural position in the competitive landscape ahead is difficult. Higher toll rates, older infrastructure, and urban congestion approaches on both sides place it at a growing disadvantage in a market that is increasingly defined by cost control and operational efficiency. Its historical dominance was primarily a function of limited alternatives. As alternatives emerge with competitive pricing and modern design, that dominance becomes structurally harder to sustain. The most significant alternative has not yet opened. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is under construction in the Windsor-Detroit corridor, designed specifically to modernize the crossing with freeway-to-freeway connectivity that eliminates the urban bottlenecks that have historically slowed freight in that corridor. Studies have estimated that transit time reductions could reach up to 20 minutes per trip, a seemingly modest improvement that scales into substantial savings across thousands of daily crossings when aggregated over time. Its announced commercial toll rate under the discount program is $6.90 US per axle, compared to approximately $15 per axle at the Ambassador Bridge for equivalent users. For a typical 5-axle semi-truck, that differential produces a $40.50 cost advantage per crossing for the Gordie Howe Bridge over the Ambassador. The pricing was designed deliberately to compete for commercial volume. As of April 2026, the bridge has not opened. 2 previous delays are on record. Earlier projections indicated spring 2026 operations. The timeline remains uncertain. One American analysis estimated losses of up to $7 million per week tied to the delays, a figure that reflects how significant the project is to regional and national supply chains. Industry expectations already point toward another redistribution of commercial traffic once the Gordie Howe Bridge opens, with many fleets currently operating through Sarnia expected to re-evaluate routes when a competitively priced modern crossing becomes available directly in the Windsor-Detroit corridor. The Gordie Howe Bridge's path to opening was complicated by political pressure that transformed an infrastructure project into a geopolitical confrontation. Trump threatened to block the bridge's opening, arguing the United States was being taken advantage of and suggesting compensation should be addressed before operations began. The structural facts of the project directly contradict the premise of that argument. Under a 2012 agreement with Michigan, Canada financed the entire project, approximately $6.4 billion, covering the bridge itself, customs plazas, highway connections, and supporting infrastructure on both sides of the border. Michigan secured joint ownership of the completed bridge and the right to receive 50% of net toll revenue after Canada recovers its initial investment. The agreement was signed by Michigan's Republican Governor Rick Snyder, reviewed through federal channels, and supported by a presidential permit issued by the U.S. State Department in 2013, with additional legislative and funding actions in subsequent years, including support during Trump's first term. Former Governor Snyder publicly corrected the ownership narrative and warned that preventing the bridge from opening would harm Michigan's economy more than Canada's. Michigan legislative leaders emphasized its role in supporting jobs, stabilizing supply chains, and maintaining the region's manufacturing competitiveness. The bipartisan pushback within Michigan itself reflected the economic reality that blocking this bridge does not protect American interests. It restricts them. The Detroit-Windsor corridor carries nearly a quarter of all merchandise trade between Canada and the United States, much of it tied to automotive production. Disrupting logistics in that corridor does not stay contained at the border. It travels through factories, distribution networks, and the supply chains of every industry dependent on predictable cross-border movement. Canada's response focused on facts rather than escalation. Carney outlined the key points directly. Canada financed the project, ownership is shared, both nations contributed labor and materials, and the bridge serves mutual economic interests. Construction milestones continue to be met. Regulatory frameworks remain intact. No permits have been revoked. The legal and contractual foundation of the project has demonstrated resilience against political rhetoric. The pattern that the 2025 commercial traffic data established will repeat when the Gordie Howe Bridge opens. Carriers rerouted from the Ambassador Bridge to Blue Water when the cost differential justified adding an hour to their route. They will reroute again when a competitively priced modern crossing opens within the Windsor-Detroit corridor itself, eliminating the extra hour while offering toll rates that significantly undercut the Ambassador Bridge. The competition between 3 major crossings will determine which routes dominate North American logistics for the next generation. The outcome will be shaped by the same factors that produced the current shift: cost, efficiency, and reliability. The geography has not changed. The way it is used has.